You say, Nyumba na mintu, asabe na minsa, adiebe na minye, adumre, baby I would my bedroom, diebe na minye mao, why ye sada adumre, hey, nyumba na mintu, asabe na minsa, adiebe na minye. Adumre, baby, I would my bedroom, dear Ben, I'm in your mouth. Why, sada, Adumre, and you man, I'm into the man, I'm in car, dear Ben, I'm in your Adumre, baby, I would my bedroom, dear Ben, I'm in your mouth. Why sada adumre. Charlie, I woke up with this song on my heart, so I have to sing it, and I've been singing since I woke up. So I ought to bring it here for you guys to know that I've been singing this. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, best place for football analysis, on the field, off the field analysis. Biano, it's here. No place than here. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. Won't subscribe to the channel now. Make sure subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. Me a bell no so nenye kinken and then of course notification turn on. I know what you do all. Send a time be a content about drop will have you know your first person now. Sabeka content ni BCC ano content ni bimu. So guys, wow I say all subscribe to the 4Post podcast content. Make sure just go on YouTube. Bushing 4Post podcast. We talk about a lot of things, and when we sit down, we talk, we have a lot of the analysis on very fun. Trust me, if you've not been watching the 4Post podcast, we have it in two segments. Penny for and of course, younger people who also like to talk about sports. Most of them are students at university. Somebody about them. If you want a lot of fun about football, I'm sure go and subscribe to that channel. We call it 4Post podcast. 4Post podcast. May the link to the description of the video, just like the bet codes and then you can go and pick up turn your notification to that channel also, and you enjoy the content over there as well on 4Post podcast. There's another one that's coming that we call it the FMS Strength GH. I don't know, it's going to be about social stuff, and there's somebody who's going to come in all of these social political things. That person will sit down and bring you a lot of exclusives outside on them. And also, if you go onto YouTuber, just look out for that channel again. It's called FMS. Just go and look for someone. No, maybe said you need FMS Strength. Subscribe to that channel, no, and enjoy. Baby, of course. Let me say a big thank you to the two people. Yes, most spare parts dealership shop. I can't just say Chroma say here. The band spare parts here. Yes, the greatest guy in terms of spare parts. Or Accra, Bosu kind. So Accra, I'm sure. Go there right now. Obejina hono wa je adwuma no hono ama there and then, but so when Accra now away from Accra, what he does is that he'll do nationwide delivery. Michelle friend on 059-313-8221 059-313-8221 for AC he'll take very good care of you. And yes, then of course open there, then call my man MOB Clothing on Tudu of Lao Station or Tudu no a MOB Clothing or Tadia Pa, the best set of clothes. It's MOB Clothing and the Bama. So Accra will to do their go there retail wholesale, they do it for you. If not so, then just call him on 0200-668-708 0200-668-708. Michelle friend MOB Clothing is here. Let him take a very, very good care of you. And BB and you come a very interesting person. You go to MOB Clothing and he takes very, very good care of you. See, I saw something from somebody, and I agree and may expand, you know. And the person was saying that in Chelsea game now, boy against Liverpool, no, Maresca, I say tactically, Maresca gets it. He's been caught out with going down to 10 men, but as he said, he is learning in that situation. Watch the Chelsea-Liverpool game 3 times now. It's an intriguing game, and Maresca was well on top from the tactical side of the game. That is what he's saying about Enzo Maresca. Now, somebody came up, and Obek Coutinho tweeted, and I remember I've said this thing here before several times about the games that I think Maresca lost those battles tactically, and then the game that I think that nobody has beaten him. So in my post-match analysis to the Bayern game, One of the things I said was that Enzo Maresca was beaten tactically. In that buying game, it was not about the inexperience of the Chelsea squad. It was not about any other thing. In my opinion, very humble one, is the fact that Enzo Maresca was down tactically. Down because I felt that for the game that Bayern came to play, Chelsea had the materials to stop them from playing that kind of football. But again, tactically, Bayern put Chelsea in positions where they forced them to make those mistakes. They didn't make those mistakes because they are young. They didn't make those mistakes because it was their first time or their first few games playing the Champions League. I think that it was a game where Maresca was tactically outclassed on the night by Vincent Kompany. And it happens. I mean, of course, coaches get beaten tactically in that regard. And listen to this. How many managers have outclassed Enzo Maresca since he came to Chelsea? Probably the City away. I don't remember that game very well. There's somebody saying the City away. When we even led and lost the game still in the first half, and Kompany Bayern, and our mistake killed us after starting well and not finishing chances. Rest that looks we lost heavily were red cards and self-inflicted. If you give Maresca top players, not sure most managers can get the better out of him tactically. He is always trying new stuff, and he gets found out. If he gets found out, he does something else. He is also proactive to get new stuff in as well. Injuries and the fact that he has a mostly young squad, young players, has slowed him down. But in my opinion, that is a brilliant football mind. I've said this several times. If you go to my Twitter, Oko Fiifi-Manfred or Twitter, if you like enter Maresca, I've probably said all of those things that people usually say of Enzo Maresca. In fact, recently I said the last time that one thing is for sure is that Enzo Maresca is a brilliant tactical brain. He is such a big brain. Like, Wabbing, tactically, when you sit Maresca down, I've said it several times that I hardly see Maresca lose tactical battles in games. That game against Brighton and Hove Albion in the first half, he tactically outclassed Fabian Hesseler. In that game against Liverpool, I mentioned it here, said there was no way anybody can tell me, say, Liverpool on the night, although the data suggested they created the most chances, were better tactically than Enzo Maresca. No. Even with less inferior players, less experienced players, less quality players, even as compared to the Liverpool attack, look at how he platformed his players. Then, McCann several times here, football tactics isn't about, say, 4-4, honey, all of those things. No, it's really about providing or the provision of structure and platform for the talents now to perform well. And that's what Enzo Maresca Ange Postecoglou call it the fluid rigidity. It's the reason why Enzo Maresca went 5 games. And the beginning 5 games, 5 months, and they lost just 1 game. And it tells you the quality of Enzo Maresca. And like that's what I was saying. There are times Enzo Maresca tries different stuff. So a couple of weeks or so ago, I say Enzo Maresca is being found out with that 3-2 base, of ball progression in the first season. And it started from Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace used about 3 or 4 players to stop Chelsea centrally. So the central part of the pitch was very much compact, and they could not progress the ball. And then subsequently, Brentford, all of these teams, even against Brentford, he changed in the second half, and that's why Chelsea nearly won the game, and Brentford finally ended last minute throwing game. So he keeps on changing. Then, watch the game against Benfica, the game against Brighton and Hove Albion, first half now, and then this game against Tima, your friend in Liverpool, he totally changed the build-up structure. Had the build-up structure of 2 centre-backs. I'm sure he asked Benoit to constantly be patient and have that pauser, wait for the jump before you pass. Or my jump here, don't pass. Wait for them to press before you jump, because that small microsecond makes all the difference. And that's when immediately a bunch of friend Domenico Szoboszlai jumped. That's when Bernard Belashile ball passed into him, Emma Malo Gusto, who then found a branch here friend of Moises Caicedo, and then later on was able to lead to that Chelsea opener. That is a brain. That is a top brain for Enzo Maresca. Yes, a conversation around the red card is very valid. And if anybody talks about the fact that we a coach, now they be a Udi red card, you need to be a little bit careful. I mean, that coach what they are saying is valid and you need to listen to it. And I like the fact that Enzo Maresca is saying that he is working very, very hard to make sure that red carding and when the players they are going to manage it. What we know is that in the next game in the Champions League, Chelsea are going to be without Abrantia, your friend Joao Pedro, and of course in the other game also going on in the league, Chelsea are going to be without Abrantia, your friend Abrantia friend Trevor Chalobah is going to be back in the fold, but in Joao Pedro, he's not going to be in that conversation when Chelsea go on and go and play in the next game. It's very, very important when it comes to the games that are going to go now. Graham Bailey has reported something said on the Chelsea hierarchy, it didn't come on. I say the Chelsea hierarchy, not that they aren't taking cards seriously, were unfazed by Maresca's red card. They loved the passion, they loved what it means to him and everything, the club coming together. And of course, I think that Liverpool game, what it will do for Chelsea, if you don't take care, you underrate it. Mentally, on the field of play, and even bringing the fans close to Enzo Maresca, there are certain things that Matisse, some of the pundits in the UK have said, maybe they've not said it the right way or they've not explained it better. But of course, Maresca had some little issues when it comes to getting the bond with the fans. Now, there are some fans who felt like the football a little bit slow, and some fans who felt like a little bit snobbish and all of those things. But of course, a lot of Chelsea fans are generally not happy post Thomas Tuchel and what has happened to the club. And anybody that was going to come in would have had to navigate them well. And yes, you're always going to get people who are granting in the background. And again, that is what happens in football. Football without wings essentially brings out the cracks and the cockroaches from those cracks. So it was always going to happen. Now, according to Greg Bamley, this is going to bring that bond. That is going to be that sort of adhesive that puts the two parts together. And then let Enzo Maresca have the function. And I've liked the approach from Chelsea when it comes to match day notes, when Enzo Maresca constantly talks about them. According to the Telegraph, Reece James will return to action for Chelsea after the international break. No serious issue for the Blues captain. He is 100% expected to recover from the injury he suffered against Liverpool. And apparently, any injury after the game, Reece James edits on picture be Ekokoto Instagram. And I want to give you that picture first, then we can move on. On this picture, and I think that was in the tackle between Ono and the friend Alexander Isak. Oni Alexander Isak pim. So Eko in our battle to possibly win a duel over Kaya. Alexander Isak now started complaining that he wanted a penalty from there. And Maurice animated team. So that's where the load also of Reece James playing 90 minutes in a game where he played as centre back, he played as right back, he played as a DM. Koba the week before, no about game against Benfica, and then play subsequent games. Because of that, Enzo Maresca felt that okay, then Reece James should go to England camp, talk to Thomas Tuchel, say, because of our load, he would want to sit out of it and then come in and then come back and come and play for the Three Lions later. I think that's smart. I think that's the best news that Chelsea will have in terms of more players that are going to be fit, and with James stepping up, very, very important. Chelsea were offered a chance to sign AC Milan goalkeeper Mike Mignon in the summer, but decided not to pay the asking price because they had faith in Robert Sanchez Jorgensen and then Mike Penders and that's the conversation around Abrantia friend Mike Mignon. In recent days, the conversation has crept up again. Say Chelsea will most likely go into January and then go and hope to sign Abrantia friend Mike Mignon. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I've said it several times that for me, Robert Sanchez has improved immensely and has been playing some very, very good football. Yes, those bozo moments once or twice come up over there, but I think that he hasn't been bad. The experience is getting better. He's growing into it. He's understanding of his role, the cross claiming, the playing out from the back. See, one of the things that was very, very important in the game against Liverpool was the ball playing ability of Robert Sanchez. People make a lot of noise about players just because of their names. Obviously, Georgi Mamadashvili, when people made a lot of noise about him as a Liverpool goalkeeper, he really added nothing to that Liverpool team when he came. The ball playing ability of Alisson, that probably would have helped them evade the Chelsea press now. Charlie, international football, but a lot of really interesting things that's going on as a and you may didn't come out anymore as on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much. We'll give you the best in terms of analysis, all of those things that we're saying on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, Rodrigo goes and said something about Madrid versus Chelsea. Champions League semi-final game on we Chelsea film. I don't know if it goes to buttress the points that people are raising about Carlo Ancelotti or not. Because of course, 2 other Chelsea players have been nominated for a big award, of course, on the part of Football Club Barcelona. And it's very interesting. Where do we start from? So we go to Barcelona, Yenko Madrid, and ask Yenko But first off, hi Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification. In the notification, turn on. Make sure do choose all. Just so anytime your content, baby, I know your first person now. Somebody El Hassan. So every day is so bad. And investor there. In the description of the video below, we have the codes for you every day. International break, whatever. We give the codes for you to go in there and go and win something for yourself. Of course, let me say a big thank you to 2 people. Yes, Sumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. Say the best place for spare parts dealership. Say Yusumo. Freno or our crowd was so kind, but just call him. He does what he calls a nationwide delivery. 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. For Yesumo is here to take good care of you. Of course, on the other side, there is also MOB clothing. Whether you want tops, you want shirts, you want, whatever. There's multiple, multi-breasted shirts. Of course, MOB clothing, it's from that area. Anyway, whatever clothes that you want, MOB clothing, by your money. Or to do a flower station or honor. Call them on 0200-668-708. 0200-668-708. Be sure for MOB clothing, CCR, let them take very, very good care of you. Send them come on. Big news for Football Club Barcelona is the fact that in the last few weeks, number seven, Lamine Yamal out with a pubis injury. Boys no dino ho fell so ne STI na Lamine Yamal akonya na boy no onim mrewafo twin plenty no akonya sade no. But the real issue is that it was just similar to a groin injury, similar to what Cole Palmer has gotten. It's in the pubic area where the groin area no. Now, of course, there has also been the absence of a brand Rafinha from the Barcelona team in recent times. There have been the absence of a brand friend of Fermin Lopez from the Barcelona team in recent times. Barca have had a lot of players out of our team, and it has worried them in terms of getting of results in recent times. The last time out against Valencia, they struggled. They didn't get. They struggled against that one. Of course, they went on to win against Valencia. However, but in that game against Sevilla, it was a very, very, very difficult one for Football Club Real Madrid, Football Club Barcelona. And of course, they had to move on. They had to move on and get results. The last one against Sevilla, it did not happen for them. They had to come in and get a result subsequently. Now, the good news for Barcelona is the fact that Mundo Deportivo and Sport are reporting some good news. And they said, Abrante friend and Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and Fermin Lopez are all expected to be back for Barca game after the international break in the next 2 weeks. So it's very, very positive news because Football Club Barcelona are going to get some important players. Last season, obviously, 3 of Barca's top 5 most important players are in here. And my bright friend Rafinha got the most goal involvement for Football Club Barcelona. Lamine Yamal was important all through getting some winning goals and then equalizers late in the games for team and friend of Football Club Barcelona. And they needed to make sure they get Abrante, your friend of Football Club Barcelona. But after all of that good news, Barca are hearing after Serie has been the retiring of Abrante friend Sergio Busquets. There has also been Abrante friend Jordi Alba, who has also retired from international football. So after Sergio Busquets, Piqué, Jordi Alba follows suit in terms of the retirement from international football. What a time it was for Abrante friend Jordi Alba. Top football once we are talking about one of the best players that's evolutionized the fullback position. Abrante friend Jordi Alba is amongst one of the top players in that regard. Top player on the ball, off the ball, or you're very diminutive, but then the physicality, the combativeness, the near ding in terms of going into duels and then winning balls, turning possession over, and then winning them, and then creating actions from deep. Abrante friend Jordi Alba was really instrumental in the days at Football Club Barcelona. 51 goals, 135 assists 459 appearances, 6 times La Liga winner, 1-time Champions League winner, 1-time Euro winner, 1-time Super Cup winner, 1-time FIFA Club World Cup winner, 4 times Spanish Super Cup winner, 5 times Copa del Rey winner, 1-time Super Supporter Shield, and 1-time League Cup America, and of course 2012 Euros Team of the Season. He was right there, and of course Jordi Alba say it's time for him to call it. Of course, our MLS team now at LA Galaxy or retire, Busquets retire, Lionel Messi and our friend Luis Suarez, who amongst them is going to retire over them for themselves. The Football Club Barcelona have closed the 2024-2025 operating year with 2 million profits. That is huge. And Makani several times here, one of the only reasons why Barca, or one of the only reasons how Football Club Barcelona will get back to the top in terms of winning games, getting results, and then making sure that they are getting back to the top is when they begin to get the needed gate proceeds that they've been looking for. It's something that Barca have lacked for a very, very long time. When are they going to get a gate proceeds? And the good news from sport, and they say this year, your closing year, and Barca have gotten 2 million operating profits. That means that after the expenditure, after everything that they went into winning of trophies and whatever, CL Football Club Barcelona, 2 million euros. Of course, they're not so good news. And they say, Abranti friend Matthew Alemany. Charlie, if you're a Barca fan and you remember when Barca were going through the process of getting back to the top, when Barca were convincing players and other people to come in and play for them, there was one man. It was a team of Jordi Cruyff, Matthew Alemany, Laporte, these were the players that were doing their job for them in terms of coming in to come and get a job done. Some players with solid for them. And then again, our brand friend Matthew Alemany has now come in. And then of course, what we are hearing is that Matthew Alemany has been appointed the sporting director at Atletico de Madrid. That is very, very good news for our brand friend Matthew Alemany to be able to go onto the other side to go and become the sporting director or Atletico de Madrid. It's good. He left Barca just when Deco took over as the de facto sporting director, but then he has moved on from there on. Seu Gracia has been linked to Barca, but then definitely, Barca for one have not even moved on. Our friend Robert Lewandowski. So we see how things are going to go on from there. The good news from Barca is a return of our brand here, your friend Lamine Yamal and Rafinha back into the fold. But on the other side, there has been the departure from football in our brand here, friend Jordi Alba, whilst on the other side, there has been a lot of very, very good conversations. So after, say, your international break, now, but the Barca is expected to see our players back in conversation, back in big conversation in terms of the players that are going to get back and come and play some football. Federico Valverde, and then according to El Chiringuito, one caught the Uruguayan national team camp. He's still with Madrid or Coco Coye training for Football Club Real Madrid. Real Madrid are monitoring BVB, that is Dortmund's centre-back, friend Nico Schlotterbeck. One thing that Madrid wants to do in the 25-26 summer is to make sure they add another top-quality centre-back. Now, Madrid believes the injury issues of Abrantia Freno, Militao, and the inconsistencies of Abrantia Freno, Antonio Rudiger, is important for them to go in there and then find some extra quality from elsewhere in terms of the kind of players that will come and play. And that is why they are going on to the market to go and find some more. They have been linked with Abrantia Freno Ibrahima Konate. They have been linked with William Saliba. And then now there has been a conversation of Abrantia Freno Nico Schlotterbeck in the team for Abrantia, for Tima, your friend, the Football Club Real Madrid. Madrid are very, very much interested in finding Abrantia, your friend, in getting Abrantia, your friend Nico Schlotterbeck, to be part of the squad now. The games now. As the season goes on, next summer, definitely they are going to be looking at it. Of course, Abrantia friend Alvaro Carreras, Madrid Forum, after the conversation in and around Abrantia friend Alvaro Carreras, he didn't go for the Spanish national team. Now it's in the Brazilian national team, and a Madrid player, Abrantia friend Rodrigo Goes. He spoke about Carlo Ancelotti in good light and how they won some of the Champions League. He said Carlo Ancelotti explained to us that no one's place is guaranteed. You have to play and perform well at the club level to stay in the national team. He spoke about it. I said, Carlo Ancelotti, I will always praise him. He is the person who helped me grow, develop, and reach the level I am today. Rodrigo say, playing for Brazil, it's been a long time. I felt like I would never play with a national team again. It was tough. I went through a lot. Now I feel good and ready to give my best. Talking about getting back to the Brazilian national team to go and play for them. Kylian Mbappe will stay and play for the French national team when it goes back there for them, because like DJ Deschamps, the injury to Kylian Mbappe, any idea, Man City out, football no Babe him. So definitely, I bring your friend Kylian Mbappe is going to go on and then play for football club for the French national team for him to go. So what it means is that our Madrid side, Federico Valverde was in training. Our brand friend Jude Bellingham was in training. Alvaro Carreras was in training. And that's some very, very good one for our brand friend Xavi Alonso, because what it means is that when we return for the international breaker, he will be able to have a squad and to come in and deliver and then play some good football from them. Toni Kroos has been talking about Barca's attractive style and the fact that Barca, if they don't become more compact in certain games and they become a little bit malleable, like bet affect our matches be mobile. He's saying Barca need to be very, very careful in terms of how they set up and play in certain games. Madrid have blocked 25.9% of opposition shots this season. The team is blocking 39.5%. That is a huge improvement for football club Real Madrid. Madrid.